We're gonna call this the farmhouse series. And the exciting part is that this is actually my house. We get to build our home, and that's always exciting as a builder. But I've always said that I am my worst client, and that is definitely the experience so far, and we'll get to that as to why. But we are going to edit a floor plan that we've gotten first draft back. Many things that go into how we live our life have affected the build. First things first, no, I do not have a basement. We are building on a slab. Multiple reasons. I'm not crazy about basements. There's not an opportunity for a walkout basement on our property. And number 3 would be cost. So just like anybody else, we have a budget. And when we compared what we could get by removing the subfloor and floor system that holds the house when you have a basement and going to a slab, it was just a no-brainer for us to move to that. So here we go. We're going to edit our own home, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you follow along to see what the end results are as we go to build it. So one of the things about this floor plan is that it's very simple on the outside. I'm going to probably simplify it even more. Main reason is because, again, I'm very budget conscious. And when I think about budget, a lot of the time you can gain a lot of expense on the exterior look. And for me and my family in particular, we host a lot. We have a large family. So the design of the roof, the style of the siding doesn't really affect me or serve me. So that's why we don't put a lot of money into that aspect of the building process for us. We decided to put more money into gaining more square feet. So that's where when you see me making some of my decisions for our home, that's where it all stems from, is from 1, we have a budget, and 2, is that we want more square feet rather than stone on the exterior, even though we have some stone features, but that's really what this is. First thing I'm going to do to the back of this house is I'm going to make the windows a little bit bigger. So we host a lot, as I mentioned. So to me, dining rooms are important, living rooms are important, and also flex rooms, or what I call a sitting room sometimes. So a sitting room is basically a room without a TV. We like those. It's a great place to use as a flex room, for example, as your kids need a playroom, as they grow up and need a place to do homework. A great place to put a bookcase with books. So if you need to, I don't know, at the end of the day, relax and read a book before you go to bed, sitting rooms are great for that. And so that's why we don't have exterior features, because I want the interior features that are going to really provide a nice quality of life. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my windows slightly bigger. There's a sitting room on the other side, so I know that probably my couch will be taller than the windows, but I don't tend to put couches against walls or chairs against walls, so I'll be thinking about that as I'm editing my plan. The cool thing is that I'm also furnishing it. I say cool, but it's not cool. I do not like picking out furniture. I'm a big picture person, and so going and trying to figure out chairs, furniture, throws, it doesn't really go with what I do on a daily basis. So it does make me move a little bit slower. So second thing I'm going to do to the front is I'm going to get rid of the bracket, and I'm going to vault the front, and I'll probably have some sort of chandelier there. The other thing that I did, because we don't have a basement, we went with 9-foot ceilings. So we have a little bit of a taller ceiling, and that will allow me to do a 8-foot entry door, which is going to be amazing. So all about the experience as I come into my home, and I think 8-foot doors is going to definitely deliver that. I have 2 half pillars of stone. I have not decided if that is going to be done in phase 1, but I do have my foundation planned for it. And let me show you what that means. Let me just scroll down to the foundation here. So when we're looking at the front porch, we're seeing that if I was not planning for this, you would see this porch really end with a post. But because we're planning for it, it doesn't. So I have this extra box going around my post that will fit once I decide to take the next step budget-wise. So sometimes when you can't afford things right off the bat, or you are choosing to maybe leave it for phase 2, what I call phase 2, you can always make your plans according to that. For example, if you're building a house, but you can only do 2 bedrooms and you know someday you want 3 or 4, you can have your architect draft your plan in a way that has a future build to it. So you have phase 1, and then it can be noted and drafted on how you're going to build phase 2, that second and third bedroom. Sometimes that looks like you already have the headers and the door openings for it, but you frame inside of it, drywall over it. When you're ready for it, you have a renovation team come back and open that opening, and then it's easier to frame. You already have a plan. Your trusses have been planned for that. So I always say plan ahead, or what you like to see in the future, because it would be a lot harder for me to add footings onto my porch to hold on to the extra weight of a post coming down with not piers, but stone. So that's where I am with that. Let's go back here. So not much, again, on the left side and not much on the right side. I'm going to keep it super simple because I care about the interior. And the exterior, we are very lucky that we have a large property, so my kids will be playing in the yard. So my initial plan and my initial concern, especially being in Wisconsin, is, okay, you don't have a basement. What do you do for tornado shelters? The thing about tornado shelters is, or the thing about using your basement as a tornado shelter, a lot of times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, the biggest damage is debris flying around. And the basement, if we think about that, right? Your basement has a wood structure above. And so really for something to be a tornado shelter, it should be steel or concrete all the way around. Yes, basements are a great shelter, but if something were to fall on your house, the floor doesn't hold up your house. It all comes down. I don't mean to scare anybody, but that's just like the things that I think about. And as we were going through this process, talking to engineers and all of that. So one of the things that we were playing and toying around with, which ended up getting nixed, again, budget, was that we were going to place a safe room underneath our kitchen. So we were going to have a mini basement accessible from an area in our kitchen. And after we did all the calculations, talked to engineers, talked to the needs of having the pressure coming from above, because we were going to do a concrete ceiling, concrete walls, concrete floor. So it's a true tornado shelter. Again, that budget kept creeping up. So there are FEMA rated, tested, there's a place in Texas that certifies tornado shelters. And that is the route that we're going to go. We're going to go with a manufactured tornado shelter that will be an add-on while we're going through construction. So it won't be a poured concrete, which is something that you can also do above ground or underground. But for us, it just didn't make sense with our floor plan. And the fact that we're going to have multiple structures in this property just allows us a little more flexibility with our tornado shelter options. So we decided not to do a tornado shelter underneath our kitchen floor. So we're going to move to the above ground, and we're going to talk about kind of why I've made decisions I've made. One of the things I like to do when I'm thinking about homes and what I'm doing here is where my mechanicals are going to go. Our area seems to lose a lot of power. I don't know why. So we are planning to have a generator. This is where my air conditioner is going to go as well. I usually like my electrical meter to be as close to my electrical panel as I can get it. It is next to my garage. I am going to see it when I pull up, but with my layout, there is no really good place for me to hide it. So we are going to plan some sort of privacy fence that will wrap around that. And then some people call them like mechanical yards. It's not an actual backyard. It's just a little fence covering all your mechanicals that make and power your home. The other thing I really like about this floor plan was that we were somehow able to work in a half bath, lockers, which are super important. And those lockers are right next to the laundry. So, and excuse this is a mistake there. The generators don't go inside your house. They go outside, at least that I've used. So again, because we host so much, a half bath or a guest bath is very important to me. So that I was really happy that we were able to rework this area into laundry, lockers, half bath, and then we have the entrance from the garage as well. And you can't deny the really big walk-in closet. So again, giving up some things in the exterior so I can have the interior of my dreams and still stay in budget. The other thing that I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to square off the back of the house. There is a fancy roof line right here. And how I made that decision to square it off is, one, I don't think under 9 feet is big enough to have a sitting room. So this sitting room will serve as a playroom for us. It'll serve as a little library, and who knows what as our family moves and changes. So I decided to extend it to 2 feet, which gives me more than enough space for a flexible space to both host. I picture, if we do holidays, it is easily turned into a dinner table with chairs. So very flexible area. Of course, I do have a dining room as well, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So right now in this roof line, we have a gable roof. And what I'm doing is I'm actually going to get rid of that gable. Couple of reasons why I want to get rid of that gable. It's not that I want to, it's that I want the square feet, and I'd rather pay for the square feet rather than a nice roof pitch. How I was able to get rid of that is this bathroom is going to direct vent out, so I don't have to worry about having this gable available for that venting. And then the other thing is that I have a window there. So if I scroll all the way up and I show you that area, I have this window. And what that means is that really lately, I'm really into mitigating water and managing water. And so the best thing and the fastest way to manage water coming at you from a storm or whatever it is to have an overhang. So if I wanted to keep this gable, then I would probably want to put some sort of cute little roof line there, just so the top of the windows are taken care of. And of course it provides some shade. But by adding the 2 feet more, I can now run that roof line all the way across. Again, I'm probably not going to win any design awards for the exterior of my home, and that is not the goal. The goal is to have more quality of life. And so adding those 2 feet, I don't care about that gable decoration, to be honest. And I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings, but that's just where I am and making decisions financially, the financial decisions for my family. And we've talked about in the past and how do we make homes more affordable, or how do you achieve a bigger home for lesser cost or for the same cost. This is how you do it. You simplify, and then later on through the years, you add things on as you can and as you need them. So that's one of the decisions I've made. I don't think I've told my husband this yet. I don't think he knows I made the house bigger. We'll let him find out through YouTube. That'll be fun. That'll be a cute clip too. Another thing we're super excited about, and we'll talk, is that we are importing our windows, and we're working with a friend who is going to provide tilt and turn windows. We'll have a whole YouTube video about this, and our tilt and turn windows are coming from, I don't know where they're coming from. Vera, where are they coming from? Germany? Okay. Yes. Okay. So our windows will be coming in from Germany. We have a friend who is opening a local window supply business, and tilt and turn are really great. That's what they do. They tilt and they turn. We'll have a whole YouTube video about that so you can see how they work. But why I'm excited is because we've talked about in the past about the assembly of the walls, right? So our wall assembly is going to have a higher grade of insulation. With that, we're pairing the windows, and the windows are triple pane, which are going to be super efficient, and we're really excited to be able to achieve that. So again, when you're talking about pricing, and when you're talking about, okay, what do I want in my house? Very important conversation to have on how the house is built, because the finishes are finishes. You can get whatever finishes you want, but once you build a house, that's really it without a remodel. So we are going to elevate our insulation, and then we are also going to make our walls a little bit higher, but then we're going to also have the triple pane windows, which are going to contribute to our energy savings and efficiency of the house and performance of the house. So above the garage, a lot of people are like, oh, I want extra space in the basement because we're going to use this as a second family room. Well, I've already told you we have our living room, we have a sitting room, which is a second family room, in my opinion. And then what you can do is put your garage to use. I guess your garage trusses to use. There's something you can do called room and attic trusses. Room and attic trusses are made to be storage or living space. So in this case, you could frame a house with floor trusses or I-joists for a second floor to then build your garage roof. But in this case, we're doing room and attic trusses. There we are saving about $2,000 in the difference of assembly. Performs the same, at least for the use that we're using it for. And in our case, we are doing a third bathroom up there. It'll be a bonus room. So another flex room that we can use for a family room, reading room. If, we ever have guests, or when the kids get older, we need to make a bunk room, that would be perfect for that. And so that's how we're using the upstairs area of our garage. So that's why our garage has a little bit higher pitch, is a little bit taller than the rest of the house, because we are getting, we are getting about 400 square feet extra just for using the above of the garage. So got a little bit creative there. That doesn't mean that you get that for free, right? So if you're building a house and you're like, I want to put something in the garage, it doesn't come without cost, because you have to drywall it, build it, insulate it, drywall, paint, electric, HVAC, all of those numbers. But still, that to me was a better option than a basement. Personal choice. You guys can do whatever, it's best for your family. I think the worst part about building your own house is that there's no one to control you. When my clients come, I ask them, what do you want to see? What's the big vision? And based on that, I'm able to dwindle things down to structure, wall assemblies, even when we're doing a little bit of the design portion, which is, floors, cabinets, tile, But when you're the one building for yourself, I like farmhouses. I like modern homes. I like long homes. I could live in a Spanish revival. And so this has been very, very hard, because then you almost want to give up and say, well, just the most simple thing, whatever's trending. And I think if you're building a home and you're going through the same thing because you are creative or you know all the options, or you've done this so many times that you're aware of how many things you can have to choose from, I think that you have to ask yourself, how do you guys live in the house? What do you really like? Don't be afraid of color or tones. I know a lot right now is super muted, or for a little bit we were seeing all the kitchens were all white. Don't be afraid to use a little bit of color or something that's off-white. I don't know. Just do whatever speaks to you, because in the end, you're the one waking up and walking into your own kitchen. Who cares what everybody else says? It's really for you. So that's been the hardest thing, is that I am my worst client. And because my husband's not here to defend himself, he is my second. So it has been challenging to make decisions, because for us, this is our home that we're going to be at for a very long time, I think. And with that comes the heavy decisions. And then you also remember you're a builder, so you could always, 10 years down the road change it, but still, the decisions are solid. So I'm going to be so excited when you guys come along and see the progress and how things change, because I'm difficult and I'm going to change my mind. And I've already changed my mind multiple times, but I'm very excited to show you guys our process and what we're going to be doing.